Steve Kerr, Continental Tire Coach's Corner, as we bring in head coach of Golden State. Coach, how are you this morning?
I'm good. How you doing, Dan?
No complaints. How highly recruited were you out of high school?
Is this a joke or?
Well, wait. You went to Arizona, so you had to be highly regarded.
I did. I finished my senior year of high school without a scholarship offer. I got a kind of late recruit. Like it was summer league in L.A. and I got 2 scholarship offers at the very last second to Arizona and Cal State Fullerton. So, not very highly recruited.
Who plays today in the NBA the way you played?
I don't know. That's a good question. I've never even thought about it. I mean, I was a spot up shooter and kind of a combo guard. I didn't wow anybody. So I don't think there's anybody out there who just jumps out as, well, that guy was just as mediocre as I was.
Would you be more valuable today in today's game?
Not necessarily. I mean, people ask me that all the time. The way the 3-point shot has taken off. If I would be more effective. I mean, offensively, yes, but defensively, I think I would struggle more because the game has gotten so fast, and if you're not a point guard, then you need to be, a 6'6" wing who can guard multiple positions. And, when I played, I remember when I first started playing, there were a bunch of guys who played the 2-guard spot who were my size, Jeff Hornacek and Hersey Hawkins and Trent Tucker, guys who were, 6'3", 6'4". But these days, basically everybody's kind of built in a similar fashion, every team. You got Steph Curry or, James Harden or somebody playing your point guard spot who's unbelievably dynamic, Kyrie. And then you've got wing shooters who are really big and versatile defensively. So it's a different game.
How many more threes do you think Jordan would have taken if he played in today's game?
Probably a lot more. He really didn't work at it that much. I mean, he was such a mid-range guy. He was a post-up player. But you look at LeBron, early in his career, he wasn't really much of a three-point shooter, but because the game was trending that way, you could see he shot more and more of them all the time. And I think if Michael were playing today, he would have gone in that direction and taken a lot more threes.
Did you ever dunk in an NBA game?
No, I never even dunked in practice, Dan.
You've never dunked before?
Well, you know what I would do is like once a year in the NBA, we would practice at all these different spots, and every once in a while you'd practice like maybe at the New York Athletic Club or something. There'd be that one rim that was actually about 9'9". I'd go over to that hoop. I'd feel like if I felt really good that day. And like my teammates would actually gather around and be like, "Come on, you can do this."
So you put on a dunking display?
I wouldn't call it a display. It would, I'd like, possibly just sort of force feed one ball over the rim barely, and just to show that I might be able to do it.
Continental Tire Coach's Corner. Steve Kerr, the Warriors, joining us. Got the Rockets coming up tonight. I don't know if it's the best time to ask it, considering who you're playing, but who would you vote if you were still a member of the media for MVP?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that because however I answer it, it will be used against me in an incriminating fashion.
What is it about Harden? Okay, tell me the difference between the two, Harden and Westbrook. The biggest difference is what?
Well, their teams are so different. For one thing, so it's a totally different challenge when you play each one of them. And we've got Houston tonight. There's so much court to cover with Harden because of the shooting that he's got around him. They play a different style. Oklahoma City is a big, strong team, and they're going to try to muscle you inside, and so you don't have to get out as far to the three-point line. But both guys are so good just in attacking the rim and getting into the paint and putting you on your heels. And you go into each game just mainly concerned with those two guys. I mean, that's the head of the snake is the expression people use, and it's true. Those two guys really, everything revolves around them with their respective teams, and and you go in with with a lot of trepidation because they can both do a lot of damage.
It's interesting when you see players in college and then you wonder how that translates into the pros. Did you see anything with Westbrook and or Harden where you would have gone, oh, okay, those guys have a chance to be something special?
Yeah, I watched Harden when he was at ASU because I was with the Suns and, as the GM, and so I saw him a lot, and you could see that he was a gifted passer. And it would have been hard to imagine all of this, but I thought it was pretty easy to see that he was going to be a hell of a player. But this, like a lot of guys who end up being an MVP, like Steph Curry, you can't really quite envision it because you don't really know what's inside a guy and how he's going to react to being in the league, how he's going to handle himself, how he's going to work, and how he's going to develop. But I thought Harden, you could see it a lot easier with Harden in college than you could with Westbrook. Westbrook was amazing, but he was just an athlete at UCLA. Like he didn't even play point guard really,
yeah.
And I think he was there for 2 years, and he was just so explosive. But it was harder to see like what he would become. Whereas Harden, I think you could kind of see the game and the passing ability, the kind of the all around nature of his play.
How much stock did you put and do you put into tournament play with what you see with these kids? That regular season and postseason, or postseason separate from the regular season?
Yeah, I don't think you should put too much in it. And again, I got to be careful. I can't mention any college players, so please don't lead me down that path. You've gotten me fined before, Dan.
I know. I had 10 grand 7 years ago.
That's right. I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah. I'm trying to forget it, but I can't. Every time I talk to you, I feel bad.
I bring it up. But no, I think it's important not to get too wrapped up in that because it is just one game, and you do have to watch a guy, all season long. But if I remember correctly, Harden did not have a great NCAA tournament.
No.
And I don't know if that cost him. What was he? Maybe the fourth or fifth pick in the draft. Maybe he was third. So I don't think it cost him too much. But yeah, you can't get too wrapped up in that. It's one game.
The whole sitting out players or shortening the season, or I think everybody's in agreement here, but we can't be in agreement of how to rectify all of this. So, and I don't know if being the coach of a great team, a marquee team, a team that's going to be on TV, does it hurt you more than it helps you that you're a must-see TV team?
Well, I think the schedule has hurt us. We love being on TV. I think it's great being part of a team that everybody's watching. And first of all, I've only rested my main guys, I think, twice in 3 years. So this is not something that I've done routinely. I've routinely rested Livingston and Iguodala based on age and wear and tear. And we've done that probably 3 or 4 times a year since I've been here. But Steph, Clay, Draymond, I think those guys have rested this was the second time I've done it in 3 years. So it's not a routine, but the schedule was insane. It really was. And I thought that was based on the NBA trying to create national TV matchups.
Yeah.
And so that hurt. And that's something that I've talked to Adam Silver about. And I think the league is going to do a much better job next year of recognizing that, we can't just pepper the schedule with these cross-country trips in a 2-week span. And I mean, we literally were in eight cities and eight games in 8 cities over 13 days, and we traveled across the country twice. And our guys were spent; they were exhausted. And I think we're traveling more than anybody else this year by a wide margin. And I think that's where the league can really help. It is trying to make the schedule more geographically sensible.
Last time, Kevin Durant traveling with the team?
Yeah, he's on the trip, and he's looking good. I mean, we're not going to really know for another, couple weeks, probably 10 days or so. That's when he's going to be reevaluated by the doctors. But he's coming along, and he's doing a little bit more each day on the court, and he looks good. What
if I said, let's put it to a vote with the players and the coaches, 70-game season?
I think it's a good idea. I mean, actually, Bill Simmons had a good idea. He said 76 games, and the reason he came up with 76, I think he said you play every team in the other conference twice, like you do now. But in your own conference, you play all your divisional teams 4 times, and everybody else in your conference, not in your division, 3 times. So there's actually some symmetry. And the reason I like that was 76 sounds about right to me in terms of, it feels as a coach like there's 5 or 6 games a year that are sort of throwaways, like we have no chance tonight based on the schedule. And I don't think you can cut too many games, but I think chopping 6 off to me makes a lot of sense, and it would help a lot physically. I think it would help the players quite a bit, but I don't really know what that would mean to the economic model and all that stuff.
Have fun against Harden tonight, there, Steve.
yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks for joining us. Great to catch up with you.
All right, thanks, Dan.
That's Steve Kerr, Warriors head coach. Continental Tire, Coach's Corner. They're the exclusive tire of the Dan Patrick Show. No matter where you drive or what you drive, Continental designs tires for what you do. For more information, visit ContinentalTire.com. Continental Tire for what you do.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.